Hi everyone, welcome back. Continuing on with verses 7 and 8. A little bit easier than the last two verses. Saneti hashomerim havle shav, va'ani el Adonai batachti, agila ve'esmecha bechasteka, asher ra'ita et onyi, yadata betzarot nafshi. Pause the video, pronounce that, say it out loud, and see how much you can translate. Okay, saneti, I hate, just a cal 1CS perfect, and it's important to remember that hatred and love in the Old Testament, when David talks about hating people, that doesn't mean that he is ignoring the Sermon on the Mount and cherishing feelings of, vindictive feelings, hoping that when they drop their toast it always lands jam side down or something like that. Hatred in the Old Testament, it includes your feelings, but it means I utterly reject. It's to completely reject something. It's almost to giving somebody a failing grade. If you think about how you feel about racist neo-Nazi groups, if anyone from that group were to repent, you'd accept them as a friend. But you are utterly opposed to everything they stand for. And in the biblical sense, you hate that. That's what David means when he says, I hate, and it's a perfect because it's an instantaneous perfect. Verbs for hating, loving, swearing, thinking, knowing, they tend to go into the perfect. And then just a cal active participle, you get the coattail form, the ones keeping, havle shav. Shav means vanity, and hevel means breath. It's the word in Ecclesiastes for vanity. It can mean a delusion or a lie, or it can mean an idol, because idols are so delusive. I'm pretty sure this gets translated as vain idols or something like that, but David doesn't here say pesel or something like that. He just says vanities or delusions. Now he's talking about idolatry, but his word for idolatry is just something so not worth your time. It's interesting. Sorry, I should finish the line. But as for me, I trust in the Lord. It's interesting David says that in this context, with people trying to trap him, kill him, destroy him, David commits himself to God. And against that larger context, David stands resolutely opposed to the idols that human beings set up for each other. This is not just political opposition he's facing. What God you're committed to is mixed up in David's persecution. And even as he's being persecuted, agilah, gil, to rejoice, and samach, and the final hey, shows you it's the Joseph, I will, I intend to, I want to joy and rejoice in your chesed, in your saving love. The asher here is either relative or causal, because ra'ah, you have seen, or you have looked on, and ani or oni, means afflicted, either affliction or the afflicted one. In the Psalms, the ani is someone who is helpless, needy, defenseless, and has no other recourse. They have nowhere else to go. David, past tense, God has already seen that. God knows that. He's not oblivious to David's affliction. And so David will, in the future, he intends and wants to rejoice in God's steadfast love to him. Because God's seen his affliction, not only that, Betz wrote, the affliction of my soul. Zarar means to squeeze or press. That horrible feeling when you're under such pressure you can't take a full breath. God sees and knows that. Okay, that's Psalm 31, verses 7 through 8. Next week we'll pick up with verses 9 and 10. Thanks, everyone.